Coming up on 10,000 miles, y'all. It's been a quick 6 months to get this. Don't think I've ever driven any car this much that fast. There we go.
Keep left.
10,000 miles. Woohoo! What's going on, YouTube? Q back here again with another video for you. Today's video is a special one because we done hit a milestone in the Integra. Another milestone. So we're at 10,000 miles now. And it's only been about 6 months, a little over 6 months, and we already crossed 10,000 miles. So drove a lot of miles on this car in just a short period of time. Took some road trips by myself. This car is like the perfect daily driver, and I'm gonna get into everything I love, everything I hated, just my overall experience in these 10,000 miles. I'd like to thank everybody for following me along on this journey. And in the last video, we reached a pivotal point. I'm like, man, I done all of this with the Integra. Do I mod it or sell it? But we'll worry about that at another point. But we're about to get into this review with the 10,000 mile mark. And before I begin this video, I'd like to give a shout out to the men of culture. We got Blueprint 1 LE, 100 Gang Nate, and Race Car Friends. Subscribe to all of us and follow all of our channels and social medias to stay in the loop of what we're getting into, because things are getting shaken up in the group. So like you all to stay on top of that. But let's jump into this video. My Integra is a 2023 Integra A-Spec technology package with a 6-speed manual. So this is as far loaded as you can get until the Type S comes out. So this thing has all the bells and whistles for the manual. One thing that you can get on the CVT that you can't get on the manual is creeping in traffic with the adaptive cruise control. Like you can creep from 0 miles per hour up to 5 miles an hour. Can't do that in the manual because you got to engage the clutch, so it doesn't do that on here. This is a sharp looking automobile. Definitely, I believe this is the best daily driver that I could buy, or a lot of people as well, depending on what you're looking for. This ticks a lot of the right boxes. So let's take a look on the inside. Coming from the passenger side, you see this A-Spec badge on the side over here. Got our lights in the mirror over here. We can lock and unlock our doors right here with the key fob in the pocket. My car got the red interior. You know it. So I love this red interior. This is one of my must-have. Orchid looks good too, but that's only on certain color combinations. And unlike the Civic Type R, shout out to 100 Gang Nate and Race Car Friends, they both got Civic Type R's. The floor mats are red in the Civic Type R, but I got the red seats. It's not as vibrant and loud as the Civic Type R's, but it's like a more rich red up in here. So it looks good. Got this great shifting 6-speed manual. This is an excellent shifter. Much better than my BMW. This is a really good shifter. I do wish the shift knob was a little bit bigger, because I don't even have big hands. I got long fingers, small hands, and I like just engulf this thing with my hands. So I would like the shift knob from the Civic Type R, because that's bigger and more beefy. Going into the rear seats. Kids sit back here, see grass on the ground on the other side, but you can tell like my kids are somewhat messy, and it's still decent back here. Like none of the seats have ripped up. There's a little dirt right here, gotta get that clean. Comes right off though, and it's always dirt underneath these things, but other than that, it's held up pretty well. And kicking the seats, increase my brightness. You can tell it's just a little dirty. Just needs to be cleaned and wiped down. I'm just realizing there's USB ports back here. I never come back here. I know there's no vents, but at least they do have USB ports back here. Civic doesn't have that. Coming along to the trunk. It's nicely styled. People say this looks like a Genesis, and I did see a Hyundai Genesis Coupe on the way over here. These lights do look extremely similar, can't lie. That's not a bad thing though, because I think that car looks good. I actually shot for those at one point in time in my life. And we got the dual exhaust down here, 1.5 liter. Got the black diffuser. Got some nice black accents on here. And the practicality of it all comes up. You can get this in the black badge too. Clean the trunk out, almost. Very spacious back here. If you recall the Kia GT Stinger, this is about as big as that, and this is a class smaller. So Honda does their thing, or Acura, same company, parent company is Honda. They really do a great job of packaging their ergonomics on the inside, or just their packaging with the size of how small the car is to how much space it is on the inside. Do wish this was a power lift gate, and one of my gripes, the only way you can open this thing, there's no button on the inside of the car, no button on the key fob. The key fob button locks and unlocks this. There's a button underneath here to lock and unlock, and that's just for the tailgate only, but the only way to open it is to actually press this button up underneath here. Another A-Spec badge. Gas tank, push it. Oh my god, is my car locked? Yes, my car is locked because I just did that. Unlock it real quick. Don't know if you can tell, but the doors illuminate underneath there, so when you walk up to the car at nighttime, the whole thing lightens up. It's pretty cool. Got a capless filler. Somebody said they had a hard time with one of these, but this has been seamless for me. I use premium only. It's like a graphite color wheel, and yeah, I do wish they were wider, but this is a regular car, so to say, so they're not going to put the girth on here. And then I like my tires to poke out. Those things poke in, so and that front tire is turned, so that's sticking out, but it's a few millimeters tucked in. It will look aesthetically better if it was a little bit wider or just out more, especially with fixed out. Got the sunroof on this thing. Always open it whenever I can. So let's get on the inside and talk about some things, and then I'm going to hit the road and do a quick little drive to wrap this video up. On the inside, I got the aluminum pedals you see down there. Nice touch to it. Great shifting, like the shifter and the pedals work really well together. Never mess it up. The clutch is on the lighter side. ELS audio, phenomenal. That thing is so clear. Got bass. You saw the subwoofer in the trunk. This is a really nice system. The air vents taken straight out of the Honda Civic, and the Honda Civics go all the way across the dash. No, here they just kind of broke it up. I would have liked that to be a feature of the Integra, but I guess you got to make it different somehow. And the Integra has a wireless charger. I've been using that a lot lately just because I don't want the wires dangling around. And then I do have the technology to do it, so why not? I've been playing around with it. With my phone, I do have an iPhone 11, which is old at this point because they're on 14. And it takes a very long time for my phone to charge with the wireless charger, especially on road trips with the navigation going. My phone just gets so hot. I don't know if it's the phone or the wireless charger, but my phone gets very hot with the navigation going while I'm cruising with the music on. So it's not, the USB charger is more efficient. But I did realize one of my biggest gripes was how it used to disconnect all the time with the USB. It really hasn't done that with wireless CarPlay. So wireless CarPlay is the way to go if you are going to use it. Is the audio quality better? I haven't noticed the difference with the wireless CarPlay versus the USB CarPlay. But from now on, just wireless for me, and that's been working so far. So praise report on that. Let me start this thing up for y'all real quick. Now when I was talking about those mods, this car is quite quiet. I'm used to like V8 sounding cars and loud muscle cars, so this, I don't think this will ever sound fantastic to me. It can pop sometimes. It's kind of subtle, and when I have my windows down, which I just started doing recently, now we're in the heat wave, but it does sound quite well. You can hear a little bit of turbo swooshing, especially from this small powertrain. It's 1.5 liter, 200 horsepower, 192 pound-feet of torque. So I was asking you all in the last Integra video, like, do I mod this thing or what? And I'm glad I asked that question. I'm glad people responded, because they were saying that the cold air intake on a turbocharged engine, you actually do feel the performance. My last car I did that on, the last two cars I did it on, the ZL1, and I had a Pontiac G8 I did it on. I felt a little bit in the Pontiac G8. Nothing like, it was the seat horsepower you feel, I guess. Like, you can feel it in the seat, but not so much everywhere else. It's just ever so slightly. Throttle response was a little bit better. The ZL1, I heard more supercharger whine, but I really didn't feel much at all, because that ZL1 was snappy with the throttle response already. So I didn't feel much of a difference. Dark out here, got my lights on, but we're at 10,046 miles. So we put a few more miles on since the beginning of this video. The good thing about Acura, first 2 years, 24,000 miles, the maintenance is free. So the dealership said at 10,000 miles, I can get an oil change. So if you, I know some people like to do theirs more frequently, but for the dealership I'm at, they were like, for them to honor that, it has to be every 5,000 miles. So 10,000 miles will be the second oil change on them. So that's what I'm going to do. Or if your oil gets down to 15%, that's what they told me. I'm not sure if all the Acura dealerships do that, but like I said, that's just what my dealership told me to do. Riding into the sunset. So this thing's efficient. I'm averaging like 31 miles per gallon overall, which is pretty good. But I do realize once you get up in the speed, like 80 miles an hour, let's say if you're cruising on a road trip with that, your MPG is gonna come down. And I did that in another video, spoke about that. Like at 80 miles per hour, my M2 and the Integra are somewhat close in MPGs. Like the M2 is getting like 28 miles per gallon at 80, and this is getting like 31 miles per gallon at 80 miles an hour. So the efficiency kind of diminishes the faster you go, which is to be expected, but it gets extremely well around 50 miles an hour. So you can get like 40, I was able to get 47 miles per gallon when I was cruising at 55 miles an hour. So if you don't put a whole lot into it, you can get a lot out of this engine. Let's do some quick pulls. So the best I was able to do to 60 miles an hour was like 7.8 seconds. Man, that power shut off abruptly once you hit red line. This car is not a from standstill acceleration car. Like if that's what you really want, this is not the car. Even with a tune, this car is more so for the everyday, do it well, efficient, and it has a sublime chassis. This chassis on here is really well. I'm about to get into some turns in just a moment. Unlike the Civic Type R, this thing doesn't have a thick rear sway bar. So that's what I'm told what gets the Civic Type R to swing out on the back end to get that drifty action. Now it's just on the track in the Civic Type R, that thing does get out, and it's way different than this car. So that was an upgrade that I was considering. So at this point, I'm like, dang, what do I do? And I asked for everybody's input, and it was kind of like a mixed crowd. A decent amount of people said sell it, which I was surprised. Some people said sell it for the Type S. Some said sell it for the WRX. And I always get the Elantra in. I just don't find those. And I'm actually about to pass a Hyundai dealership. I can't find those in stock. And if I do, I only seen like one or two. They're not at a good price at all. The one thing I hate the most, and I said that in the last video with the Integra, that rev hang, it sucks. So when you want to shift, the revs kind of hang around. And I'm hearing that's for the emissions. Like you can't put out pollution, I guess, so fast when you do that. This car just don't like his rear bumper to cut off. So the rev hang is very noticeable in like first and second gear. Like that shift, like when you just want to go, the car just kind of like clunks because the revs are just hanging there and not dropping as fast as I would like them to be. Like I'm used to my cars just dropping once I let off the clutch and off the accelerator too, but it just kind of hangs around there. So that's what I would tune this car for. Not necessarily for power, but for the rev hang. So I do not like that whatsoever, man. So these tires are not that grippy at all, but I like that to the car. That's where I can get all of this rubber being burnt off. Because there's probably quieter tires too. And people say there's a lot of road noise in here. It doesn't bother me and I don't notice it. Red line comes pretty quick, and it does get up to speed. Once it's rolling, it accelerates quite nicely. Like if you're doing like passing power, that's where it's good, but from a standstill, no. So some constructive criticism that I have to Acura, I feel like they fell a little bit short on the luxury items of this car. Because I look at Acura as a luxury brand because Honda exists, and they kind of decontented the Honda Civic. And I don't know if they did it to make room for this Integra, but the Honda Civic lost some features. I spoke about it in a few videos, but this car is missing some features that the previous Civics used to have, and the price jumped up, so it's not the best value that it used to be. Like, everything jumped up in price. Then to deal with the markup. But like, the things that I'm missing in this car: ventilated seats. I'll say this for other people: the vents in the rear seats. Heated steering wheel, that's my thing. But now it's summertime, so I don't care about it as much, but I look for features like that in a luxury vehicle. I realized, like I said it before, this is a bargain Acura. This is a Honda clone. So to get the Acura's best, you got to step up to like the TLX and the MDX. So that's where you notice a step up in quality, and like the whole infotainment is different. It's just a nicer vehicle, those two are. Not to say this is bad. Racing the BMW, beat the BMW, caught up. Once we in motion, we go. Passing all the dealerships. And this car is so lively on the turns, man. And they're really communicative. Like, once those tires start squealing and talking to you, that's how you know you're doing something right. Or you're about to crash. Probably a little bit of both. It means you're having as much fun as you can, but be careful, because you're about to run off the road with understeer. Still don't know what I'm going to do. So I did. Like I said, I was going to go by that Subaru dealership and check out what the appraised value for this vehicle is. And I just hate Subaru dealerships, man, around here. Like, they have been the worst. So I'm going to go to another one and see what they say tomorrow. And we'll see what those numbers are. So I went to one Subaru dealership 15 minutes before they close, and I understand that it's right before they closing, but they should have told me that when I walked in. I was like, I just want to get my vehicle appraised. Like, have you been here before? I'm like, yeah. Like, oh, your salesman's not here. I'm like, I don't care about that. Like, what is my vehicle worth? What do you think my vehicle is worth? That's all I want to know. So I just want to get I want numbers to cross-reference that with. Like, I never just go off the first offer. So I already got two from online dealerships. Carvana came back so low. They valued it at 28. Room was at like 31. And for that, on the video that's probably going to release tomorrow, it's cheaper to keep her at that price, and I might as well modify. But if I get a super high offer from another dealership, I'll entertain it. So that's where we are on that. Hopefully you enjoyed this 10,000 mile review. Like, this car has a whole lot going for it, minus the major flaws in the rev hang. And the other thing was the infotainment, but I can live with that. The adaptive cruise control, the hands-free driving, excellent system. Like, I can tear up the road in this car. It does so well for road trips. Just a normal daily commuter is great. It does have front-wheel drive dynamics, and I do wish it had a handbrake. But other than that, I think this is the best car that you can get for a daily driver for this price range in this class. Like, we got the GTI, we got the WRX, and then it goes against the Germans, like the BMW 2 Series, not like the 2 Series I have, but they got another 2 Series, the Grand Coupe, and we got the Mercedes GLA and the Audi A3 class. So technically this is what Acura says they compete with, and all those cars are more powerful. You can get a manual in this one. This is a great manual out of all cars. Like, this manual is so much better than my M2, and that's a BMW if you don't know. It's a really good driving car dynamically. Highly recommend these Integras. But take the good with the bad. I'm just throwing it out there for you all, because I'm the owner of this car. Sharing my experiences with you all, so you don't have to get one of these like, ooh, I wish I knew that before I spent $37,000 on this car. And also check out the video I did a review on the CVT as well. I haven't driven anything that wasn't an A-Spec technology package, so I've only driven the loaded up ones. Hopefully you all enjoyed this review. Hopefully it was helpful. You can learn something, and help you consider if you want to buy one of these or not buy one of these. Your choice. I'm about to check out. Just splatter the bug up on the windshield. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, browse this channel, and And I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.